Welcome back to the Hidden Layer, where we decode the world of artificial intelligence. Okay, picture this. You've spent weeks, maybe months, building a sophisticated AI agent. You give it a really complex task, you hit run, and it fails. Big red stamp. It's that moment every developer just dreads.
But hold on. What if that failure wasn't just an error? What if it was actually the most valuable piece of data you could possibly get? What if failure is actually the secret ingredient to building a truly expert AI?
Today, we are decoding a fascinating paper called EvoSkill. And in the next 5 minutes, you're going to learn exactly why most AI agents get stuck, how a brand new framework lets them learn from their own screw-ups, and the secret to building AI that's way more reliable. And you're going to want to stick around because I've got a bonus for you at the end. I'm going to show you a complex skill that an AI wrote entirely by itself.
So to really get why EvoSkill is such a big deal, we first have to talk about the core problem that developers are wrestling with right now. We're basically building generalists in a world that absolutely demands specialists.
Here's the fundamental trade-off. On one hand, you have these general-purpose agents. They're like the Swiss Army knife of AI, incredibly flexible. But, they lack that deep domain expertise, and they often just fall over when you give them a really specialized task. On the other hand, you can manually write these expert skills for them, and they perform brilliantly. But they're brittle, they take an eternity to build, and that whole process just doesn't scale. You can't hire enough engineers to write a custom skill for every single thing an agent might need to do.
So, how do you get the best of both worlds? Well, that's exactly where EvoSkill comes in. It's a framework designed to bridge this gap, to create an AI that literally learns from its own mistakes to become an expert.
And here is the crucial point. EvoSkill is a framework that automatically finds and improves reusable skills just by looking at its own failures. And what's really key here is that it does all of this without ever changing the underlying AI model. The model stays frozen. It's the agent's capabilities that evolve.
This completely changes the game. Instead of endless, low-level prompt engineering or code tweaking, EvoSkill works at a much higher level, creating these modular, reusable building blocks that it calls skills.
So how does it actually do it? Well, the magic is in this really simple, really elegant 3-agent loop. The best way to think about it is like a dedicated mentor system built by AI for AI.
So let's break down the team. First, you have the Executor. This is our student agent. It goes out, it tries to complete a task, and sometimes, well, it fails. When it does, the proposer steps in. This is the mentor. It analyzes exactly what went wrong and comes up with a high-level idea for a better way to do it. And finally, the skill builder acts as the scribe. It takes that mentor's advice and turns it into a structured, reusable instruction manual, a brand new skill the executor can use next time.
And this right here is the actual algorithm from the paper. It's a continuous cycle. The agent tries, it fails, the system analyzes that failure, it builds a candidate skill, and if that new skill actually improves performance on a test, it gets added to the agent's permanent library. It's literally evolution in action.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but the real question, the one we all have is, does it actually work in practice? Well, the researchers put EvoSkill to the test on some seriously challenging benchmarks.
First up was OfficeQA. And look, this isn't some simple trivia test. This is reasoning over thousands of pages of incredibly dense U.S. Treasury data. After learning from its failures, the EvoSkill-equipped agent saw its accuracy jump by 7.3%. Now that might not sound like a lot, but on a task this hard, that is a massive gain. Then they tried a totally different beast, SealQA. This one tests an agent's ability to find facts on the open web even when the search results are noisy and conflicting. And here, the result was even more stunning, a 12.1% improvement in accuracy. Just incredible.
This graph from the paper really shows you the power of this approach. That bottom line is the baseline model. The lines above it are agents enhanced with EvoSkill. But see that line way up at the top? That's a skill merge agent. It combines the best skills learned across several independent runs. And it proves that these evolved skills are complementary, creating an agent that is truly greater than the sum of its parts.
But the real magic here isn't just about getting better scores on one task. The holy grail of AI is creating skills that are transferable, capabilities that can be used in totally new situations. And EvoSkill delivered. The researchers took a skill that was evolved on that web search task, SealQA, and applied it with 0 changes to a completely different benchmark for web browsing agents called BrowseComp. And the result?
a 5.3% accuracy boost just by plugging in a skill learned somewhere else. This proves EvoSkill isn't just memorizing fixes, it's discovering truly general, reusable knowledge. So, what does this all mean for you, the engineer or the developer who's actually trying to build more reliable AI? Let's get into the playbook and see how you can apply these ideas today.
Okay, first, let's get concrete. What exactly is a skill in this world? It is not just another word for a prompt. It's a structured folder. Inside, it has a markdown file with human-readable instructions for the agent, some metadata about when to use the skill, and even optional little helper scripts the agent can execute. And here is that bonus I promised you. This is a direct quote from a skill that EvoSkill created all by itself after watching an agent fail at web searches. It wrote, "Before concluding any factual answer, check at least 3 independent sources." A human didn't write that rule. The AI learned through failure that this was a necessary protocol for success. It automated the creation of its own expertise.
For an applied engineer, this is an absolute game changer. You can now build your agent's capabilities as these modular, reusable blocks. Because the logic is in plain text, your skills become transparent and verifiable. You can audit them, you can unit test the scripts, and you can compose them together to create increasingly complex and, most importantly, reliable AI.
This really brings us to the big takeaway. EvoSkill shows us a path toward AI systems that don't just follow our instructions, but actually learn and improve on their own, turning their failures into durable, verifiable expertise. And it leaves us with a really powerful question. If you could automate this process of learning from mistakes, what is the very first skill you would want your AI to create for itself? Let me know your answer down in the comments. And if you want more explainers like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.